Most people don't know this about Patrick Mahomes. Before the Super Bowls, the fame, and the $500 million contract, there was a quiet fear he never talked about. One moment early in his career that almost changed everything. And what really happened next was never meant to be public. Everything seemed perfect for Patrick Mahomes. The MVP titles, the Super Bowl glory, the millions in his bank account. But behind the lights and celebrations, there was one moment that almost destroyed his career forever. A scandal that could have ended it all. How did he survive the storm that nearly cost him everything? Before the roar of the crowd and the bright lights of the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was just a boy growing up in Tyler, Texas. Life wasn't always easy. His family faced struggles that many would call ordinary, but for Patrick, they were lessons in resilience. His father, Pat Mahomes Sr., a professional baseball pitcher, carried the weight of high expectations, and young Patrick watched closely, absorbing the discipline and work ethic that would later define him. Even as a child, Patrick's personality stood out. He had a quiet confidence, a curiosity that often got him into mischief, and a fierce determination to master whatever he set his mind to. Whether it was throwing a baseball in the backyard or improvising football plays with friends, these early moments were more than just play. They were training grounds for greatness. At school and on the field, he faced doubts. Some whispered he might never reach the heights of his father, or that the pressure of expectations would crush him. But Patrick had a spark that refused to dim. Every challenge, every setback, every late-night practice quietly molded him. It was in these early years, in the unremarkable days filled with practice, small victories, and lessons in perseverance, that the foundation for his legendary career was being quietly built. And little did anyone know, this boy from Tyler was destined to become one of the most electrifying quarterbacks the NFL had ever seen. As Patrick grew older, his love for sports was inevitable. But football, more than anything, became his calling. Unlike other kids who played casually, Patrick approached the game with an obsessive curiosity. He didn't just throw passes. He studied the mechanics, the angles, and the split-second decisions that could change a play. In high school at White House High School, Patrick's talent was undeniable, but his journey wasn't handed to him. He started as a dual-threat quarterback, mastering both passing and running. But coaches initially worried about his unconventional throwing style, that unique, almost effortless flick of the wrist that would later become his signature. Critics thought it might limit him at the next level. Off the field, Patrick's training was relentless. While teammates relaxed, he stayed behind, throwing hundreds of passes against the chain-link fence, refining his arm strength and accuracy. He watched NFL quarterbacks obsessively, breaking down every play on tape, mimicking movements, and even analyzing defensive tendencies. His father's baseball insight gave him an edge in throwing mechanics, but Patrick's own drive transformed raw talent into precision. By his junior year, Mahomes led White House to the state playoffs, not just through sheer skill, but with a football IQ far beyond his age. He could read defenses before the snap, improvising instinctively when the play broke down, a glimpse of the brilliance that would define his professional career. Yet, despite his success, recruiters were cautious. At this stage, his size and unorthodox style made some question whether he could transition to Division I football. It was in these high school years, practicing in rain-soaked fields, staying late after games, learning from every mistake, that Patrick Mahomes quietly built the foundation for NFL greatness. The boy who once threw against a fence in Tyler, Texas, was preparing for a journey that would soon shock the football world. Even with his high school dominance, Patrick Mahomes faced a road filled with doubt. Recruiters overlooked him, questioning whether his unconventional throwing mechanics and lean frame could survive at the college level. Many scouts told him he was too risky, too raw, or simply not ready for Division I football. That rejection stung, not just for him, but for a boy who had spent countless late nights perfecting a throw that most couldn't even imagine. The pressure mounted. By the time he committed to Texas Tech University, whispers followed him. Could he survive the speed, the physicality, the intense scrutiny? Critics doubted if the quarterback from Tyler, Texas, who had once thrown against a backyard fence for hours, could ever make his mark. Even teammates and coaches weren't fully certain if his unorthodox style would work under the bright lights of college football. Patrick, however, embraced the challenge. He trained harder than ever, staying late after practices, studying tape obsessively, and working with his father to refine mechanics that others called risky. He learned to read defenses like a chess game, anticipate pressure, and improvise, skills that would later define his genius on the field. The moment of breakthrough arrived slowly, almost imperceptibly. It was the first major game against a top-ranked opponent, a national stage where his talent collided with opportunity. Under the weight of expectation and skepticism, Patrick delivered a performance that stunned everyone. Precise passes, fearless improvisation, and leadership that belied his age. That single game didn't just win the match. It marked the moment the football world began to take notice. Scouts, who had once dismissed him, now saw a quarterback with NFL potential, a player who could rewrite the rules of the game. In that instant, the boy who once faced rejection, doubt, and relentless pressure took his first step toward fame, a step that would eventually lead to the Super Bowl, MVP titles, and millions of fans across the world. What started as a moment of quiet opportunity became the turning point that changed everything for Patrick Mahomes. Away from stadium noise and highlight reels, Patrick Mahomes lives a life shaped less by celebrity and more by grounding relationships, routine, and responsibility. Fame didn't arrive gradually for him. It exploded. And learning how to carry that weight became as important as learning how to read a defense. Mindset and inner world. Those closest to Mahomes often describe him as calm, curious, and deeply competitive, but not consumed by ego. His confidence is real, yet quiet. It comes from preparation, not bravado. He studies relentlessly, replays mistakes longer than successes, and believes consistency matters more than applause. Fame reshaped his mental world early. After winning MVP and a Super Bowl in rapid succession, Mahomes spoke publicly about learning to block out noise, understanding that praise can be as dangerous as criticism. Pressure is constant, but his discipline, sleep, recovery, routine keeps him steady. Fear still exists. Fear of letting teammates down. Fear of complacency. Fear of not living up to expectations. Instead of denying it, he channels it. Love, partnership, and stability. At the center of his personal life is Brittany Matthews, his longtime partner and now wife, whom he met in high school. Their relationship began long before money, contracts, or cameras, when the future was uncertain and success wasn't guaranteed. Brittany remained present through college doubts, draft day uncertainty, and sudden superstardom. Their relationship provided continuity when everything else changed. Marriage didn't slow Mahomes down. It anchored him. In interviews, He has often credited that stability for helping him stay focused, especially as fame accelerated. Family and Roots family has always been foundational. His father, Pat Mahomes Sr., a former MLB pitcher, introduced him early to professional sports. The grind, the pressure, and the reality that talent alone isn't enough. From him, Patrick learned resilience and the cost of a career under constant scrutiny. His mother, Randy, provided emotional balance, structure, encouragement, and grounding. Mahomes has spoken openly about how both parents shaped his values: work hard, stay humble, protect your people. Becoming a father himself marked a turning point. The arrival of his children reframed success. Wins mattered, but being present mattered more. Parenthood added urgency to his discipline and softened his perspective on failure. Mahomes is visible, but intentionally guarded. He shares moments, not everything. He avoids nightlife headlines, limits public exposure, and keeps his inner circle small. Home is treated as a sanctuary, where football stays outside the door. Loneliness still exists. Leadership at his level often means carrying responsibility alone. Teammates look to him. Fans project expectations. But instead of escaping pressure, Mahomes leans into structure. Family dinners, familiar routines, quiet nights. Moments that changed him. Winning early taught him success doesn't guarantee peace. Losing taught him humility. Fatherhood taught him perspective. Each phase reshaped how he defines greatness, not as domination, but as longevity, impact, and balance. The man behind the name. Behind the MVPs and contracts, Patrick Mahomes is a man still learning how to lead, how to protect what matters, and how to stay himself in a world that constantly tries to redefine him. Fame didn't replace his identity, it tested it. And so far, what remains is someone grounded not by noise, but by love, discipline, and purpose. The living room. The main living room is built for comfort and connection. Large, sectional couches face each other, not a stage. A sign this space is meant for family and close friends. Floor-to-ceiling windows look out onto the backyard, blurring the line between inside and outside. There's a calm energy here. This is where games are replayed on mute, conversations happen late at night, and pressure finally comes off. The kitchen. The kitchen is modern, open, and functional, designed as much for everyday life as for hosting. Marble countertops stretch across the room, paired with dark cabinetry and subtle lighting. High-end appliances sit seamlessly within the design, not to show off, but to perform. This space reflects discipline. Everything has a place. Nothing feels excessive. The workspace, tucked slightly away from the social areas, is Mahomes's private workspace. This room is quieter, darker, more focused. A large desk faces the wall, often paired with film equipment nearby. A place built for reviewing plays, studying defenses, and planning the future. This is where championships are mentally prepared for long before they happen on the field. The gym and recovery area. One of the most important spaces in the home isn't glamorous. It's the private gym and recovery zone. Fully equipped with professional-level training machines, stretching areas, and recovery tools, this room reflects Mahomes' understanding that greatness is maintained, not gifted. Every detail here serves longevity. The master bedroom. The master bedroom is surprisingly calm, soft lighting, minimal decoration, a large bed centered for comfort, not aesthetics. Floor-length windows allow morning light to enter naturally. This is a place built for rest, the most underrated weapon of an elite athlete. The bathroom and closet. The master bathroom feels like a private spa. Stone surfaces, deep soaking tubs, rainfall showers, and ambient lighting create a recovery-first environment. Nearby, the walk-in closet is spacious but organized. Jerseys, tailored suits, casual wear, all arranged with precision. This isn't about fashion statements, it's about readiness. Entertainment and outdoor living. The home also includes entertainment spaces, a private theater room for games and films, and an outdoor area featuring a pool and lounge space. The pool isn't designed for parties, it's designed for decompression. At night, soft exterior lighting turns the backyard into a quiet retreat, shielded from the world. What the home reveals. Patrick Mahomes' home doesn't scream fame. It doesn't chase attention. Instead, it reflects control, discipline, and intention. Every room serves a purpose: to recover, to focus, to protect what matters most. Behind the contracts, the trophies, and the headlines, this home reveals the truth about how Patrick Mahomes lives, not chasing noise, but mastering silence. Because that's where greatness is sustained long after the cameras turn off.